Have you ever heard a message that hit you so hard that you wanted to be mad, but you couldn't because you're like, that's actually so true? The one that recently hit me so hard was someone on TikTok saying, your results are telling the truth about you. And I remember my brain just kind of glitching for a little bit because it's like, oh my God, this feels so true in my body. Like it feels so accurate. But if I were to believe that that is true, then there's a few things that feel uncomfortable to me about that. Like there are a few areas of my life that I wasn't ready to take responsibility for, that quote just instantly kind of forced me into a mindset shift where I started taking that responsibility. And I want to tell you a story today about an area of my life that has been super challenging in the past for me to take responsibility over. My hope is that you're able to reflect and pinpoint the area of your life that you feel has been particularly challenging for you to take responsibility over. I've taken a lot of responsibility in general over my relationships, over my friendships, over my financial situation, my career success. Those are the areas of my life that were super easy for me to be like, oh yeah, what you put in, you get out. Oh yeah, my results in that area are telling the truth about me. They're either telling a story of me believing that I can or getting in my own way. But the one area that felt so challenging for me to be responsible over was my literal body. Like the literal thing that accompanies me everywhere I go and with everything that I do was the most challenging for me to take ownership of. Basically, like for as long as I could remember, I had body image issues. Like literally before I had a body. Like I was literally a 8-year-old girl worried about whether I was drinking whole milk or skim milk because I didn't want to get fat. The body image issues ran so deep. It got to the point where, and I'm sure you can potentially relate to this or at least know somebody who relates to this, but I thought I was fat at points in my life where I was so thin. And I look back at pictures from those times feeling sad because I'm like, girl, you had no fat on your body. Like what were you tripping about? So now that I'm in my 30s and I'm really looking at this from a more empowered perspective, I want to tell you what I've learned. Just 2 years ago, honestly, even less than 2 years ago, that quote hit me. It really just like smacked me and backhanded me because as soon as I saw someone say, your results are telling the truth about you, the first thing I thought about was the number on the scale and how I don't like it. Or the picture, the progress photos that I'm taking where I don't feel like I'm losing the weight that I want to lose. And it made me feel a little bit uncomfortable because I'm like, in order for me to accept that this is true, that my results are telling the truth about me, then I need to admit that I'm the reason that I don't like where I'm at. And that felt very, very hard for me. Basically, when I started thinking about that, I realized that I was giving my power away to several different places that had no business holding that power. Number one was the scale. Like sometimes I would literally be like, yeah, honestly, I don't know if it's because I used a different scale last time or, the scale is not accurate. Like I would say things like that. Number two was my metabolism and age. I would start to get in my head about like, I've been working out so much and I'm, looking at certain calories. Like clearly there's just something wrong with me. So I'm literally giving power to my body. I'm giving power to the thing that I actually control because I didn't want to admit or take ownership of the fact that there was just something that I was or was not doing the right way or I was not thinking about the right way. I would also even give power away to Ahmed because he would order food a lot more often. He doesn't have weight loss goals. He just has like live his best life goals. So I would give power away by saying it's been so challenging to be adherent to a healthier diet because my husband is out here ordering pizza 2 times a week. I wouldn't have been able to say this to you. Like in my mind, I gave so much power away to those things that it felt so real. Like if anyone tried to come at me and tell me like, yeah, but what about that? I wouldn't be able to accept that it's actually me that has the power. Like I truly felt helpless. And I love to use this example because at this point, most of us know weight loss is really just a calories in, calories out game. For people who don't have any types of like baggage when it comes to weight, it is the easiest thing for them to control. I lived with my brother in Dubai for a few months during COVID, and he wanted to lose weight and cut up. First time in his life, he actually prioritized it. Watching him literally track his calories and take these progress photos every week and weigh in. He's a nerd, so he created this whole Excel spreadsheet to track certain progress that he was making with his body and his measurements. And it was just a linear path for him. For me, it was like this is what my graph would look like when I was trying to lose weight. Sometimes it would go up, sometimes it would go down. There was nothing linear about it. For him, it was just a nice little like steady weight loss, downward spiral or downward whatever. It was so refreshing to witness someone who didn't have any of that baggage, who truly felt like he has power over his body, and see what that could look like. It kind of opened my mind up to what that could look like for me. Like, this doesn't have to be so complicated. This doesn't have to be so emotional. This can really just be a very logical, what you put in, you get out type of game. That was what kind of opened me up to realize that I want to start having power over this. So, and a few interesting things happen. And if you believe in manifestation, you understand that when you start embodying a specific identity, in this case, I embodied the identity of a person who could lose weight easily, right? Certain opportunities will start to come to you that wouldn't have come to you in that old mindset because you wouldn't have been open to them. And one of them is this random thing that I'm wearing here. Now, this is not like a promo. This isn't even a weight loss video. I might do one down the line on that, but I'll tell you why this is important. This is called the Whoop. And for around a year or maybe even over a year, I knew that my brother wore this device that essentially tracked his sleep. It tracked his recovery after his sleep. It also tracked his daily calorie burn. And I had just never even thought to buy it. But on this recent trip, now that I've hired a nutritionist, I've taken all of these steps towards steady weight loss, and I've been actively losing weight and actually feeling like it's easy. I'm like, let me just buy it. I didn't even think too much about it. And I'm telling you this because after my first week of using it, I learned something that kind of blew my mind. And it's that the discrepancy between the Apple Watch calorie burn and your actual calorie burn was around like 400 to 500 calories. Based on those numbers in the past, any nutritionist that I had hired would give me a calorie goal. In my case, at the time, it was like 1775. That is what I need to eat in order to lose at least a pound a week. 4 months, I had been doing that. I had been eating under those calories and wondering why I was not losing weight. So in my defense, it kind of made sense why I was discouraged, because I'm doing what they're telling me to do. I'm eating according to them under my calories. I'm working out 5 times a week at one point, and the scale is just not budging. And I was doing this for months, feeling so confused and frustrated and just angry with myself and just overwhelmed. So you can imagine, I felt like I had no control. I felt like I was trying to do everything right and I had no control. You can imagine why it was difficult for me to accept that my results are telling the truth about me at that point in time. Because what were my results? 0 progress. But what was I doing? A lot in my mind. I thought I was doing a lot. So it's like, how could my results be telling the truth about me? This is clearly not in my hands. Fast forward to the end of 2023 when I buy this little baby right here, and this little thing reveals to me that I only burn 1,700-ish calories, my entire calorie burn, including workouts, including my sleep, including everything. You can understand why when I was eating 1,700 calories a day, I was maintaining my weight, because that was literally the amount that I could eat in order to not gain weight and not lose weight. So now I've been able to increase my workouts to where I'm trying to burn around 2,000 calories a day, and I'm eating less than I normally eat. Really, it's not eating less. I'm eating the same, but I'm just making my coffees at home now that we're all boycotting Starbucks. My coffees are like 1/3 of the calories as what I used to do when I was buying coffee outside every day. So there's that. My point in telling you this is because I finally opened myself up to a place where I'm like, I am responsible. This is on me. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't care. I'm done giving my power to the scale. I'm done giving my power to the stupid Apple Watch. I'm done giving my power to anything. I'm gonna take matters into my own hands, whatever it takes. That's when I hired my nutritionist. I started working with them, tracking my calories, tracking what I eat, tracking my workouts, because this is something super important to me. So to you, it might be like, that's extra, that's a lot. To me, it's like, no, I want to take responsibility over an area of my life that is so important to me that historically has felt challenging. So yes, I do need to do more than I typically would do. That's what then opened me up to buy this thing, to then reveal to me what is actually going on. Now, mind you, it's not even like I'm giving power to this. To me, like, this didn't have power over me either. It's giving me an insight into something that helps me take it into my own hands and do something about it. I could have looked at the calorie burn that this gave me and been like, oh, wow, this is so low. How am I ever going to be able to do this? But instead, I'm like, okay, cool, amazing. Now I get why things weren't working. What can we do to make it work now? And basically every single week, I've been dropping in inches and in weight because I finally got to a point where I accepted that my results were telling the truth about me. What can you do from this? Whether it's career, relationships, maybe you're like me and it's weight loss, maybe it's your living environment. The point where you stop giving power to everything and everyone outside of yourself and accept that even if it's not your fault, it's your responsibility. It might also be your fault, but even if it's not your fault, it's your responsibility. That's when you take that power back and are in a position to actually change your outcomes. As long as you are giving power to all of these other things, you will remain victimized by the problem. I'm not saying this to be harsh. In fact, I'm saying this to liberate you. You need to get to a place where you are ready to take the heat, to take the responsibility, because that is the only place that you can change your life from. You will never change your life from a place of blaming everything and everyone else. If you keep blaming everything and everyone else, you will always keep blaming everything and everyone else because you will always be in the situation that you're in right now. If you want to learn more about this, I have another video which basically explains to you the psychology of why people play victim. You are not a victim. Regardless if people are trying to victimize you, you are not a victim. You get to determine whether you're a victim or whether you're not. I just want this to be a message to empower you, not from a place of me knowing it all, from a place of me literally being in your shoes as somebody who has found it challenging to take responsibility and wanting to show you how in real time, me deciding to go from a victim mentality to me taking ownership has actually produced the outcomes that I want, finally. Let me know what you think, or if you have any questions about this, I'm here for you. I love you so much, and as always, stay powerful, my loves.